Moses knows all about pretty weather because he's out in some of it right now on the golf course as he takes a pause. Have you driven off the 8th hole yet?
I have not hit off the 8th hole yet, no. But Preston and I are playing a very much scramble round this morning.
Conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. You or Preston, who's better?
I think it's pretty close, but I think right now I've played better so far this morning, and we'll see how it shakes out. We still got 11 holes in front of us today.
Are you giving them strokes?
I am not. No, we are playing this straight up.
All right, cool. Cool. All right, hey, let's talk a little Curve baseball. That was a thriller last night, huh?
Yeah, I mean, 2 good games here in Akron already. Just another really solid week for our guys to start it off here, and good to see Jack Sawinski knock in a 4-hit game last night, his second career 4-hit game. These are a couple key series here in Akron and Erie. If the Curve can come away with a winning record on this 12-game road trip, they'll put themselves in position for the postseason.
Boy, they really looked good for the first 3 games last week against Harrisburg, and then it fell apart, and it was the pitching that fell apart for the Curve at the end heading into the weekend last week. Obviously, you've got all kinds of new guys on that ball club. And they're finally probably learning each other's names. And that will go a long way toward what happens on this road trip, won't it? Their familiarity with each other and their comfort playing with each other.
For sure. I mean, this I think will be a pretty good bonding experience for this team. We added 3 new players during that series last week as a result of a couple trades with the Pirates. I think an underrated piece of it is that we've added a new catcher, Carter Binns, who is learning a whole new pitching staff pretty much on the fly. And he said as much when he joined the team and sat down for a couple of interviews with local media, and he was saying, "Look, it's a work in progress. It's going to take some time for me to get to know these guys." And I think his first couple of games on the field, catching with his pitching staff, obviously didn't go very well, but I think there's improvement to be made, and Carter's a young guy who's going to continue to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at people that came over to the team. Last week was the first time I'd seen G1 because he was injured. The other times I was at a Curve game. And G1 is not the biggest fella in the world, but I like his stroke. Sawinski looks like a monster out there.
He sure does. Real power in his swing again last night. He had a couple of shots to the opposite field that, I think is important for any left-hand batter to be able to use the entire field. And, I was chatting with G1 at batting practice yesterday, sort of joking around with him saying, well, do we have to address you as a power hitter now that you've hit 5 home runs in the month of July, including the rehab assignment? And he sort of laughed it off, and he said, I got a few pitches that I could do something with. And, I'm starting to feel more confident up there now that he's fully past that knee injury. But, yeah, I mean, you got a couple of really talented left-hand batters at the plate, and this continues to be a fun group to watch as it has been all year.
Yeah, it really is, and really enjoyed the experience last week of getting to see them again. A couple of guys that you want to think about, O'Neill Cruz. We've missed seeing him since June, I think it was, that he went out, and doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon because of the arm injury. But that's a big loss for the Curve, and it's a loss of more than just of a player. It's a team leader.
Oh, absolutely. And, I think we're starting to see the beginnings of O'Neill making his way back. We've seen him play catch on the field a couple of times in the last week or so. So we're sort of crossing our fingers that he'll be able to get back on the field and play for the Curve in the next week or two here. But, that remains to be seen based on how his arm responds after the month away of not throwing. And, at least it's good to at least see him going through some of the regular motions, even if he's not throwing every day. He's still taking ground balls at shortstop every day, and he's taking a few fly balls in center field also, just to be exposed to that ability on the field. And we're hopeful that he'll be on the field again soon. Maybe when we're back in Altoona in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that would be a really, really good thing to see. Meanwhile, you've got guys that have been there all season long that continue to stroke it pretty well. Cal Mitchell's looking good. Mason Martin is looking good as well. Mason can sting the baseball.
Yeah, man, his batting practice rounds are something to behold. He hit a couple of really impressive shots in Akron here yesterday and on Tuesday during BP. But we've talked some about this, just about how poised Cal Mitchell is, and just how consistent he is in his approach. And, I really struggle to identify where Altoona would be without him this year, just because his daily presence and his consistent good at-bats have continued to give Altoona a chance to win every game, and he's just been a joy to have around the team.
Yeah, it looks like he's a fun guy, and the team is having a good time. Pitching tonight for the Curve, is it McGregor?
It is.
Yeah. He's a guy that's a bit of a puzzle, but I think one of the things that we forget about him is the Tommy John surgery. I think that, that body and that particular, the arm speed, everything that is coming back to him, he's not a guy you want to give up on. It hasn't been the best of seasons for him, but he's something that the Pirates want to keep around as long as they can to see if he's going to come into what they really expected him to be when they drafted him.
For sure. Travis, I think, it's sort of underrated the part that, we're now into the month of August. And, for McGregor, like, he's throwing as many innings and as many in a start as he has in his professional career. And, that first year back from Tommy John, where Travis would have been completely healthy in 2020, is a season in which you sort of have to take it with a grain of salt and say, okay, the guy's still coming back together. But, I think we're still in that same stage with McGregor where he's sort of figuring out what his body feels and getting some consistency. And, I think you're right that, the Pirates saw a lot of promise in him when they picked him in the second round out of high school back in 2017. And, we see the tools there. Fastball in the low 90s, pretty good slider. And, the changeup has come along a little bit. It's just about finding some consistency for him throwing strikes. All
right. He is, of course, our source for the Curve, Jon Mozes. Has Preston teed off yet?
Yep, Preston just teed off on 8, and he's now searching for his ball in the woods.
There you go. There you go. And you're waiting. You haven't teed off yet?
No, not yet.
I think I see a chance here. All right.
All right.
Go swing the stick. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Todd. Talk to you soon.
All right. There's Jon Mozes, the Altoona Curve. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.